As we begin our preview to a Thursday racing, once again on the inside track of turffontein, and I bid you a very, very warm welcome. It is the 14th November, and of course that will be the precursor to our night meeting on the 15th on the Standside track. We were there yesterday as we look ahead to turffontein racing on a Thursday, on a Wednesday morning. And of course, as I speak, I implore you, get those blue vouchers. You will thank me forever and a day because they're just so easy to access from your local convenience store or garage, and literally within seconds using your fingertips and your phone. And of course, access to your Betway account. You are up and running to get involved. Right, let's get straight into the business of bipods and of course betting on a Thursday. Good racing on Thursday, and you and I are both in the same vicinity south. A bit of rain overnight.
Yeah, some lovely rain on Tuesday evening, but beautiful weather predicted for Wednesday and Thursday, going into Friday evening.
Yes, indeed.
So I look forward to the next
morning,
couple.
by the way.
How are you doing, Seth?
Yeah, very well, thanks. Let's get straight into your selections. I hope we do not have a repeat of yesterday where the more fancied horse didn't quite run to the debut effort, and unexpected and unexposed and unfancied first timer from the stable came through and won.
It just shows you most horses go out trying. If they're good enough, they'll win. You asked off air who trains Snowdonia. If I had to hazard a guess, I'd say Ormond Forest.
You're right.
Am I?
You're very right. You're very right.
Okay. Missed in Ireland. I thought that was a lovely debut. Take note, in that race was a horse called Elysian Blue. Now, he's a gelding trained by the Asmen.
Yes.
He finished as much as 3.5 lengths behind her and came out to run second behind Cosmic Queen over the weekend. I think she's got a lot of scope for improvement, and she's certainly met the right field to at least run in the top two. I won't be having a punt on her, but I'm confident enough in bankering her in the bar pot. She is a 3-year-old filly, carrying 55. Penicillia's 8 from these last 13 rides. So she'll certainly get the assistance from the saddle.
Yes, and I've noticed that with Penicillia, very confident in everything he does. Even when he's in his civvies, he's very confident. He knows he is the man, and of course, it is his ride in leg 1, number 9. That is a banker, and we'll touch on that second banker that comes about in a race number 3 when we get to that first leg of the pick 6. That being Vibe SA. Outlay 162 rand. All right, so now we get into our second big exotic of the afternoon. Exotic returns yesterday at turffontein, and not too bad. The pick 6 after the adjustments, with the favorite winning the last leg, and the 3 scratchings being brought into play from 150,000. Didn't take too much of a dip. 12% was added, and that was 145,000 rand. The bipod 100 rand, and everything paid well. Right, let's talk about that voucher that you need to be part of the play to access your Betway account. As far as loading it with money, just use that blue voucher available from any convenience store or garage, and literally just follow the instructions, put in the code, and you're up and running. Bob's your uncle. Right, you'll be in a safe space if you do that, because you'll be able to get that PA on. Safe space. Chase Mojan retains the ride. He's ridden the horse 7 times for 2 wins, 2 seconds, and a 4th. And dare say, he is having a great season.
He is. He gets a great tune out of safe space. Like you said, on the half felt, he's ultra consistent. Yeah. Take note, last time out when running second behind an improving sort, he did pick up a penalty, 1.5 kilograms for that second. So he needs to raise his game to get it right, but I can certainly see him notching up another victory. I thought that was a lovely effort. Potbury. Have a look at his 3 efforts since being gelded, says. 1,000 meters, 1,200 meters, last time at 1,400 meters. Now he's gained a mile. He's really unexposed of this distance, and in his last start, there's no doubt that's his best effort to date. Just looking at it, you'll say Pioneer ran second in his next start. Yes, he did. But third in that race was one more star. Yeah. That won.
Yeah.
And fourth in that race, as many as 6 lengths behind, was Ichacha, and he was unlucky not to have won. So I think the fact that he's unexposed of this distance and he could be better, he has to go in.
Would you back it up with anything?
Yes, Whispers of War. Now, I like his chances. You know, he really goes well over this course in
Yes.
distance. A win and 3 seconds from 6 starts. Marco, a lot of confidence in the saddle. He's probably going to head their fares up front, try catch them on the back foot, turning for home. And the fact that his rating's come down even further, with a little bit of giving the ground, he certainly could keep on rolling. So, yes, I'm very, very bullish we'll get through this leg. Let's hope we treble up.
Yes, it's about time we had a Whispers of War back in that number 1 box. And of course, the stable do seem upbeat generally about the well-being of their runners. I did meet Corne Spies a couple of days ago away from racing, and we just had a general chat, and he's quite happy with life. That is the PA. 1, 2, and 5 not taking chances here. That is 1, 2, 5 safe space, Potberry, and of course the ever dropping in the handicap at Whispers of War. Okay, so we will remind you time and again, because all of us at one stage or another have been victims of not having enough funds, and by the time you try and do this transfer of one sort or another, always seems more often than not a problem in the translation. Whereas if you've got that voucher, it is a case of keying in the voucher number, and you have topped up your Betway account, which allows you to be on the Pick 6 by 13:40 tomorrow, and that is a maiden plate over a distance of 1,200 meters. I did allude to the Grey Jet form line, Mr. Marie. We're going to discuss it in short, but I guess all the attention will be on a certain number 1 of Vibe SA. I was looking at a horse that beat it one of the times it went to Bagalangs, who runs later on today. And Vibe SA is still a maiden win, was again very short and expected to win that day.
He was very short, and he's proven very costly to follow. But you know, sometimes you get these horses that are ultra consistent in the maidens, and then when they finally break through, they seem to hold their own.
Yes.
In handicaps.
That's right.
And just have a look who he ran behind last time out.
Rock
of Bismantova. He falls into that exact category. Yeah. Rock of Bismantova won his maiden at his 11th time of asking, right?
It is, I think,
and he's now a 3-time winner. So who says Vibe SA can't do the same? You touch on that run behind Buggerlugs, right?
Yes.
I have to pull this up because in that race, I know it says no direct winners, but the 3rd place runner, Dapper, has won. The 4th place runner, Lancia, I think, trained by Nell and Byron.
Nell, yes.
And the 5th place runner have all won.
Yes.
Since then.
Yeah.
Listen, this is a great opportunity for him to get it right, because what's on offer over here seem to be limited themselves. But Lloyd Wright showed good improvement at 125 to 1.
Yeah.
Vibe SA, let's hold thumbs that today's the day.
So this is our bank in the Pick 6, is it? As far as tomorrow is concerned. Banker? All right, there it is, the bank of the 1. And then it's 2 horses in the second leg. And then after that, it is as many as you can at the 4, Milo's Millionaire, and at the 7 in that second leg. And that is Izanami. That's your Pick 6 outlay, 1,890 Rand. All right, let's get into that first jackpot. First of 2 jackpots. It is an 8-race program, so race number 4 is where we're at. It's a play soccer 6, 10, and 13 maiden plate. We're going over the 1,200 meters. Scratched as the 8 is Sterling Silver, so that debut will have to be delayed. Right, we have the lightly raced sorts in this field who are dominating. You've got Montana Lights, who's your favorite. You've got the 4 Milo's Millionaire, trying that maiden win at the 5th time of asking, and right at the bottom of the page, maybe another improver after an decent display by the winner, Committee Storm, and that will tell you exactly who the relation is. That is from attorney Peter Sable, who had disappointed first time out, and then put the record right when running again.
Yeah, and she's running on Friday night.
Oh, we look forward to that. So the fields are finally out.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Cess, I'm very surprised to see Montana Lights at the top of the board.
I thought so as well.
I didn't like the field that she contested last time out. She was beaten by 2 first-timers. The second one being an unfancied one. Bilingual was just behind her. Listen, she can improve. I just thought that could have been the right race for her to get it right. But yeah, this isn't the strongest of line-ups either. Milo's Millionaire.
Yes.
You know, Mr. Terry commented in the computer form last time out because she was returning from a layoff, and the comments were positive. They expected her to go close, and the betting suggested so. She was well supported in the market. She had some excuses, maybe some giving the ground will suit her, but also take note. A set of cheek pieces gone for the first time. So her best effort to date has been on the inside track, around the bend, in her penultimate start. And you know who was in that race, who finished just ahead of her? Willie Meet Again.
Yes,
Willie
Willie
Meet
Meet
Again's
again
at
was having
3.
a first run.
Yes.
I was at the race course, of course, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
and she was a length and a half behind Willie Meet Again.
Yes.
Listen, Willie Meet Again's obviously progressed nicely.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that Form 9 has been franked. So I think she's going to strip fitter, and we're going to see a much improved effort. But the filly I like over here, and she didn't show much on debut, but she was far from disgraced, is number 7, Izanami. What does it mean? Do you know?
Izanami, it's coming with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
hoping
it's
she
coming with me or come with me. Let's go.
Okay, well, let's go to the winners enclosure.
Izanami, yes.
Yeah. So I think we're going to see a lot of improvement from her. You know, her half sister, by Ideal World, 1/1400. That was Phoenix. She
Yes.
won quite a few.
Yeah.
And-
Is that Adelaide?
Yes, and then she went to Alan Creef.
That's
in
right.
PE.
Yes.
Expect a lot of improvement from Izanami. I think this is a great opportunity for her to display that. Thereafter, you want to go as wide as possible. I don't know if Jilted's going to line up. Take note of
Yesterday again, I
card,
thought drop and
card
trip would be
changes.
good.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was ultra disappointing.
What about just one more to ask you as we look at the field there at your selection, Calicar?
I think Calvin's got the choice of rides.
Okay, that is the outlay, 378 Rand. That's your first jackpot. Well, as mentioned at the top of our preview, we are recording on a Wednesday for Thursday, and of course, in a week's time, next Wednesday, that will be the 20th of November. It will be the barrier draw for the 2024 renewal of the Summer Cup, the Africa's richest race. Now up to a whopping 6 million Rand, thanks in very, 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 very big quantities to our sponsors, Betway. That will be the barrier draw for the 2024 Summer Cup, and also you're watching Waiting to Win, sponsored by Betway, home of the PSL. Now, Mr. Murray, we're into the second half of our program. We've got scratchings, the 1 Storm Ahead, the 5 Carry On Colours. Carry the Colours also being a scratching, that is numbers 1 and 5. The Merciful, I see our selector does like the Merciful, and yet the betting has got to clear the path as an odds-on favourite.
Yeah, Clear the Path is very short. I think he's in the region of 4 to 10.
Yes.
Listen, on paper, he's certainly the right horse because I think he does bring the strongest form into this race. Coming back from a lengthy layoff in his penultimate start, lovely effort. Excuse me, says. Lovely effort when second behind Dance King. You know who was in that race?
Yes, the
Robert
winner
Browning.
Robert Browning. Okay,
He
carry
beat
on.
Robert Browning in his penultimate start. Then last time out, Robert Browning reversed that form. Now, I've got two... I'm a little bit wary with regards to two factors over here. Have a look at the comments in the computer form.
Yes.
Respiratory noise. If he's got a breathing problem and he's been stepped up to further, that may be an issue. But I had a look at his breeding. His dam sprinted. Siblings all sprinted. There's no stained blood in his pedigree. But I can see him getting it right because of the strength of the field. If he stays and he's effective over this trip, I think he'll take a lot of beating. Now, the Merciful. I watched that race very carefully because there's quite a few runners coming out of the Panning Gold form that contest this race. And I'm going to sit here and say Mizra is going to reverse the form despite the turnaround in the weights. I don't think this horse got any assistance from the apprentice last time out. He fly jumped, he was detached in the early stages, came into the straight, he found himself behind horses that were falling back. If you just go watch the last 400 meters of that replay, there's absolutely no doubt this horse was finishing best of all. Had a look at his breeding. His dam won over 2,000. listen, there's no guarantees that he's going to stay the extra. They still have to prove that on the track. The same can be said about the favorite. But at 33 to 1, Misra, I think he's worth a bet, because in my mind, he's going to reverse the form with the Merciful. So yes, the favorite, the one to beat, Misra, a lot of value, 2 from 4.
Okay,
And I
so
put the scratching in on purpose.
I love it when he's passionate like that. 945 Rand, the outlay to Jackpot 2 commences at 10 minutes to 3 with the running of race 5. All right, so we're into an 1800-meter Betway Summer Cup on 13 November, Meritrated 74 handicap. And if you're just joining us for the first time, it is a reminder that we are recording on a Wednesday, and next week, Wednesday, the 20th of November, we will know the final barrier draw for the big event that takes place on the 30th of November. Right, Mr. Marie, we've got a lot to discuss. It's only the 3 races, but they need all your input, as much input from you. Mount Etna, big improvement last time out over a trip, way short of its best, 1600, and that was behind a certain theatre of life, and we saw those colours to good effect when they won on the evergreen Savannah Storm, once again called a victory by Nico. Chase Mojan retains the right for Farney Bronkhorst, and here you've got DeMarco's Jet, who was in that race, and as far as the weights are concerned, DeMarco's Jet is a kg better off.
Yes, and I think Mount Etna's better on the standside track. I don't know, let's see how she goes, but a nice return. You could see my perms. I made this race one of the hardest on the card. I put the entire field in my bar pot. That's how I read it. I'm going for the horse right at the bottom of the boards over here to feature, and that's Mr. Ratis's Full Go. Now he's priced up at 13 to 1. I'll tell you why. Just maybe by now that form line has been franked with Safe Space running earlier on in the day. But that was a very, very competitive lineup behind Heather's Boy. For him to finish 5 3/4 of length behind, I thought that was a fairly decent effort on his behalf. Prior to that, never far off. He's got 52.5 to shoulder. He's actually one of the distance before, and he's got a neat draw. So I think he could be thereabouts. Only a Poet has his first run on the Highveld for Wayho. He could show anything on his debut effort. He's been off the track for quite some time, close to 7 months, and Wayho's put him straight into a race over 1800. So that's quite interesting. Future Wolf, this horse going down to the start will give you a lot of confidence. He always looks so well. I think he could be a player. I make this race very, very tricky. I mean, I hope I get the result I'm looking for. Let's leave it at that.
I think you will. Now, you see, just to tell you that the favoritism is now shared between the two. Another horse of yours from the past, Leo Olado, and the 4 DeMarco's Jet, both at 28 to 10. And at the bottom, Forgo has been shortened in from 18 to 1 to 13 to 1. It is the pick 3 selection field, as mentioned by Darryl, and the rest is 2 by 2 horses, and that is 36 Rand. Okay, so now we are into our penultimate event of the afternoon, race number 7. This is a fillies and mares 80. It's over the 1200 meters, and favoritism is with the 4 Saigon Susie, who is at 22 to 10. 2 right on after a busy-ish period and then a break. Worthy Break is back, and that is at 72, bracketed at 72 with the 5 Lady of Memphis, who could be anything. While the form lines were not at all franked in the first race of the afternoon yesterday at turffontein, Lady of Memphis, but they do say you can only beat what is put in front of you, so we don't know what sort of Lady of Memphis will turn up. But Lucky was, in fact, I couldn't really pick up his vibe as to whether he expected the win or didn't expect the win, didn't show much at home, is what I remember, if my memory serves right.
Is that prior to the race?
After.
Now, I thought, listening to that post-race interview, it sounded as if he was very bullish of a big, big run.
No, he says he was getting various
yes,
feedback.
He was getting various feedback. The one jockey said to win on debut. The next one said, no, it needs the run. Right. But reading into that, I thought he was going into the race knowing that he had a filly with ability. Whether or not she was going to produce it on debut,
that's the thing.
Remains to be
16 to 1.
seen.
And not that he is a punter, but I'm sure the word would have got around.
But Cecil, I would not read into the fact that her form line hasn't been franked.
Yeah.
She came out awkwardly. She actually bumped horses on her outside.
Then suddenly dropped into the race.
And then going through the 400, she was in control.
Yeah.
The further she went, the easier she was going to win by. That was over 1,000 meters. She's making her handicap debut. A lot of these fillies are more or less in their place. They're not going to suddenly run 8 pounds higher than their rating.
Even Sagan Susie.
Well, she's making her handicap debut. She could well do so.
Yeah.
But Lady of Memphis steps up to 1,200. Got a great draw. I think she could be anything, and she could remain unbeaten. I think I like her chances.
Okay.
Reading into her form line, you'll play to beat her. Saigon Susie, fair enough effort last time out. That was in a plated race. Now she is making her handicap debut. She's drawn out wide. I think they're going to drop her in. The same can be said with Ride On. Her last win in her penultimate start, they gave her a chance and she quickened up smartly. Last time out was against the boys. Given a chance, I just don't know her well-being because she has been off the track for 2.5 months. Now, Valievia, number one, the top weight interests me. Obviously, she comes out of what's a grade 2 or grade 3 form.
Mm-hmm.
Is a grade 2.
That is
grade 3, the
grade
starting
3.
stage.
Grade 3.
If you watch that race, she was behind Fatal Flaw in third position up until the 100-meter marker. She only finished a length and a half off the third-placed runner. It was a great effort. But if you like her chances, you have to respect the filly that's getting long in the tooth, and that's there she goes, because they've met before and there's not much separating the two of them. But she was returning from a layoff, Valieva, on that occasion. Tricky race. I'm actually going for the unbeaten Lady of Memphis ahead of Valieva, and thereafter, anything goes.
All right, so 1 and 5 should see us through, and then at 2 and 8, we will discuss those in more detail shortly. All right, so it is, of course, race number 8. A nice way to round off proceedings at Turffontein on the inside track. That is on the eve of our return to the standside track for night racing, and that is Friday the 15th. Now, next Turffontein race meeting, Friday the 15th, is the Medway 72. It's over the 1,200 meters. A form update that will be of interest. The 7 Just Var got that win at the second time of asking, and now that it is with the Grant Maroon stable, and that merit rating had plummeted, and was a winner. That was by a quarter of a length behind another returning horse, and that is a Bearded Gown, returned as part of the string of a Bar and Borters. The 9 twice as well. There will be no form update. Was due to run in the same race, but was a scratching, so we can bypass any search for that form update.
And twice as well, he's out. Both of them are out.
Oh, they are out now, I've just been told. So they are both out. So that leaves us, I've just said, for the update on these changes. Thank you very much to Mr. Marie. So that leaves us a field of 8. And as far as you're concerned, were they in any way part of your selections?
No, I took them out because I saw the scratching.
So is that a yes or no? Would they have
were,
been?
yes, they
okay.
were. Anything Mr. Maroon sailing at the moment
Yes,
to go
we
in.
saw
Follow
that.
stables in form.
Yes, I see that.
Now, interesting over here, the current favourites, Fabian's horse, Commander Royal, and number 2, my first pick, met last time out. And there wasn't much separating the two of them. Now, what catches my eye is a lone time with Dennis, drawn 2, very, very speedy sorts. The blinkers come off. And he won effortlessly without the blinkers, and then they put the blinkers on. So I like the fact that the blinkers come off. Maybe just when he gets to the front, he relaxes more without them. So Dennis from a neat draw will get him into a prominent position, and he could potentially keep rolling. I love his chances. If you like his chances, Commander of Paul has to go into everything, and that's number 6. You know, I think Jason picked up a 10-day suspension coming up soon. He'll really want to get into the winner's enclosure before taking the leave, taking the rest. Every opportunity he gets, he throws a kitchen sink at them. So, he's a natural inclusion. And then Written in Stone, poor old Written in Stone, he's back at the races a week later.
Yes.
But with a bit of giving the ground, Storgate number 1, Louis knows him extremely well. If he can just slot him behind a lone time, he'll be right there at the finish. Yeah, a tricky race to end off. If you want to go further, his lordship's unbeaten as a gelding. Kotsinos could upset the Epcot at any given stage. We know he's capable, but he's not reliable.
Copper John, will it ever come to
Sure,
back to his
sure.
form?
I don't know what's happening with this horse.
Yeah.
I think the connections have expected so much from him.
Unless he wanted to have exited the ownership.
Maybe the a little bit of a easy comeback to give him a bit of confidence with the full claiming apprentice in the arms. I don't know, Cecil. I don't know what to make of him.
2 and 8, those are the clear first choices, and we saw that being the second leg of the last double, race 8, and that is where we leave it until we confront Turffontein Racing Standside Track Friday.